Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing today? As for me, I'm doing just fine. Do you know what time it is? It's learning time. Today, we're going to learn about helping others. Do you know what it means to help others? Well, let me tell you, it's something important to understand. When we help others in our community, it makes their life a little better. And when we make their life a little better, it makes the whole world a little better. And that's something we can feel good about. Today, we're going to read a book about Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox. And we can see how it is that they helped other people in their community. In our story today, Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox are friends, and they work together to help others in their community. If you have this book, you can read along as I read. Okay, let's get to it.
Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox, as told by Daphne Hogstrom. Illustrated by Art Seiden. Paul Bunyan was a mighty man. A giant man was he. He was the greatest lumberjack who ever chopped a tree. As tall as 20 buildings, as strong as 20 bears, as brave as 20 lions, as swift as 20 hares. Do you know what a hare is? A hare is a rabbit. He used a broadaxe and a saw to comb his inky locks. And almost just as large as he was Babe, his big blue ox. Now Babe, colored a shining blue, like sunny summer sky, was as wide as the Missouri and 11 pine trees high. Old Jim the Crow, or so they say, would fly from horn to horn, and he'd leave one wintry evening to arrive one summer's morn. No one can tell how Babe was found, though many songs are sung, of how Babe wandered into camp when he was very young. Paul Bunyan raised and trained his pet to carry, pull, and pack, and Babe would feel rewarded by a pat upon his back. But others say that Babe was found the year the blue snow fell. It covered tracks and trails and trees, and Babe the ox as well. His tail, they claimed, was poking out from snowdrifts on the rocks, and when Paul Bunyan pulled on it, he pulled out Babe the ox. Babe did the job of 60 men around that camping ground. He'd haul 500 logs at once and pile them in a mound. He dragged whole forests to the shore. He straightened crooked roads. He packed whole camps upon his back. He towed gigantic loads. The loggers tell about his deeds around their fires at night. They tell of how he'd strive and strain and work with all his might. They say he could pull anything, a mountain or a log. But would you think that even Babe could ever pull a fog? One winter's day, a fog lay thick on Paul's huge lumber camp. It made the woods grow deep and dark with icy cold and damp. The river fishes lost their way and swam up in the air, till even Paul himself could brush the salmon from his hair. The little giddy fish got caught among the limbs of trees, and there they tried to swish and swim as happy as you please. But Paul and Babe plowed ditches in the river's crimson clay, then both together tugged and lugged and drained that fog away. They say that Babe pulled rivers too, long curly, twirly reels that gave the loggers extra work when floating logs to mills. Old Paul would hitch him to a wave, then Babe would huff and puff until his master cried out, "Stop! That stream is straight enough." But sometimes Babe was troublesome, as when he tried to tub. He'd need at least a little lake in which to scour and scrub, and tons of yellow soap, and barrelfuls of cream. But when the job was finished, how he'd shimmer, shine, and gleam. Then feeding Babe could be a task. His mouth held bales of hay, and often, as you might expect, the wire got in his way. So while he chewed and chawed and chomped, 10 strong men stood beneath, with pitchforks in their hands to pick the wire between his teeth. Now Babe was just 100 when his strength began to fail. He found it hard to haul a house or straighten out a trail. Paul put him in a pasture on the very edge of town, where he could see the people pass as they rode up and down. And Babe was very happy, for the children came in flocks to climb the tail and pat the back of Babe, the big blue ox. The end. That was quite a story. Did you like that story? I did. I like stories that rhyme.
See how Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox worked hard to make the loggers' jobs easier by making the rivers straighter and by collecting the fog and helping the fish get back in the water. People loved Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox because they were kind and liked helping others. Well, that's all the time we have today. So, if you would like to go get your own copy of this book, I put a link in the description, and so that you can go get your own. I hope that next time you think about helping others, that you'll think of Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox and how it is that they helped and how the community loved them for being kind and helpful. Don't forget to come see me tomorrow, and we'll learn something new.